An unprecedented day for the stock market behind the trading trouble that took down the NASDAQ. In today's cover story, the president's aggressive plan to ease the burden of college debt. Plus, the conversation over employee wages goes rogue in today's Traders Unplugged. And the wheels are in motion for high-speed transit. A look at the 3D blueprint. First Business starts now.
You're watching First Business, financial news, analysis, and today's investment ideas.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, August 23rd. I'm Angela Miles. In today's First Look, trading turmoil at NASDAQ. Traders and investors will recover today from the exchange shutdown yesterday for more than 3 hours. The broader market rallied yesterday despite the trading halt. Gold and oil also edged higher. In earnings after hours, Pandora reported growth among mobile internet radio listeners. However, it also had a larger than expected loss. Shares fell 4% after the close. A report says iTunes Radio will be ready to play next month. The internet radio is Apple's answer to Pandora. And mortgage rates rise. Concerns the Fed will start tapering its bond buying program are now pushing mortgage rates even higher. The 30-year fixed jumped to 4.58%. The 15-year is 3.60. Both are the highest level since 2011. Let's find out how Scott Bauer of Trading Advantage is preparing for this trading day. Scott, the NASDAQ had huge trading troubles yesterday. Will that leak into trading today?
You know, it doesn't look like it, Angie. It looked like everything was back up and normal by the end of the trading day. In fact, the NASDAQ cross at the end of the day on the close was fine. It was normal. So, you know, I don't anticipate there to be any more problems today. But you know what? Given, you know, what happened earlier in the week with Goldman, now yesterday what happened, it has just got to be on the minds of the retail investor. You know, they have to be questioning, is it safe to put orders out there? Is it okay?
It's definitely looking questionable lately. What about that tweet from Carl Icahn talking about doing dinner with the CEO of Apple coming up in September? He's been moving the market, especially with Apple.
Well, you know, it was interesting because when that tweet came out, Apple was halted at the time because of the NASDAQ. So, you know, it was about an hour and a half, I believe, after the tweet when the market reopened. Stock opened up $3-4, and you know, I think it had time to digest it. I think that the market has already, though, priced in what he tweeted last week or 2 weeks ago with that big run up.
The economies in Europe and China are looking better. The United States just keeps rolling along. What will be your game plan for trading on this Friday?
You know, we'll see what the new home sales bring out in a couple hours here. And really going into next week, I really just want to be flat because we're at this inflection point where, you know, in the S&Ps, we've been here, you know, 3-4 times already, can't seem to break through to the upside. So I really just want to be flat, see what happens over the weekend, and start a new week next week.
Thank you for your insight, Scott.
Have a good one.
A major outage in the NASDAQ sent shockwaves through the trading community Thursday. The glitch forced a 3-hour shutdown of the index, making it impossible to trade stocks and options of big names such as Apple, Google, and Microsoft. Traders took to Twitter in frustration as trading did not resume until after 3 p.m. NASDAQ said the glitch was the result of problems with the system on which trades are recorded. It's the latest in a string of technical problems, including this week's $100 million Goldman glitch and last year's Facebook IPO flub, for which NASDAQ paid a $10 million fine. Trader John Voorhees of Keen on the Market says this event could be a turning point for high-frequency trading.
I think it's a loss of confidence, really, in the measures that are being taken with electronic trading. And you've had people calling for more regulation of high-frequency trading and of electronic trading for some time now, but I think this is really going to raise the awareness, given the scope of the glitch.
NASDAQ says it is working with other exchanges to investigate the issue. It notes that the trading halt occurred to protect the integrity of the markets.
Now on to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where Federal Reserve presidents are meeting. This year's monetary conference is expected to focus on central banks around the globe. Leaders of the Bank of Japan and Bank of Mexico are slated to speak, according to Bloomberg News. U.S. officials will likely debate when to start wrapping up the monthly bond buying program that's been stimulating the economy. Fed Chair Ben Bernanke is not attending this year's summit due to a scheduling conflict. His term expires in January.
President Obama says America's colleges need to be more accountable for the value they provide students, their families, and the taxpayer. But as our cover story explains, he left open precisely how that value is measured. In Buffalo, New York, President Obama said rising costs are making college out of reach, and a disturbing national trend reflects that. Student loan default rates have now climbed above 9%. That's the highest it's been in 17 years.
The bottom line is this. We've got a crisis in terms of college affordability and student debt.
So the president proposed the following reforms. First, a federal college value rating. It could be tied to federal funding. Second, the president wants to better prepare students for the global economy. But some fear that may curtail long-range thinkers in favor of short-term fixers.
We will essentially just generate people who are responding to immediate market demand. But that will certainly not make America more competitive for the future, because we won't see what's around the bend.
Thirdly, the president wants to make more graduates eligible to repay college debt gradually.
Now, if we move forward on these three fronts, increasing value, encouraging innovation, helping people responsibly manage their debt, I guarantee you we will help more students afford college. We'll help more students graduate from college. We'll help more students get rid of that debt so they can get a good start in their careers.
At the University of Illinois, where 80% of students at its Chicago campus are on financial aid and graduate $21,000 in debt, proposals to limit debt by tying future financial aid to course completion doesn't help those just getting started.
Right now, schools can actually disperse money 10 days prior to the start of school. So, for example, if a student needs money to pay for their rent, they actually have the money available to do that. So if there's a discussion about delaying disbursements, that could actually hurt students if they won't have money for living expenses or money for books.
Another factor in college costs, the amount of public funding colleges receive. In 38 states, colleges receive less money than they did just 5 years ago. In some cases, more than a third of the state's contribution has evaporated.
The SEC will soon propose new rules on CEO pay. Corporations face criticism for doling out massive pay packages to company leaders, creating a large gap between the amount CEOs make compared to rank and file workers. The new rules the SEC is planning, however, are reportedly a lot less strict than what lawmakers originally ordered.
Eli Lilly is the latest drug maker slammed with bribery allegations. A former senior manager for the company was quoted in a Chinese newspaper saying that bribery and illegal payments at Eli Lilly's China operations were widespread. The report says illegal payments total close to $5 million. The company says it's deeply concerned about the allegations, and it follows similar investigations at China offices of GlaxoSmithKline and Novartis.
JCPenney is using a poison pill strategy to prevent a takeover attempt. A JCP spokesperson tells reporters there's not a current takeover attempt happening, but reports say just in case, the company has a poison pill plan in place from now until next August. The tactic allows shareholders to buy more stock at very low prices if someone comes in and tries to take the company. JCP is vulnerable as it struggles to recover from a nearly $1 billion loss.
Walmart wants to bring back manufacturing to the U.S. The retailer is holding a two-day summit this week with retailers, suppliers, and government officials to increase the number of products made in America. Walmart hopes to boost sagging sales. Critics say Walmart's backtracking after sending manufacturing jobs overseas for cheap labor.
Slow back-to-school sales are putting retailers at war to attract shoppers. Walmart is already rolling out layaway plans for Christmas. Others are promoting deep discounts and holiday sales.
I would certainly think that as we move into the fall and toward the holiday shopping season, that you're going to see a number of retailers come out with specials. They're going to announce these things far in advance because I still think most retail companies are a little unsure whether the consumer is really going to be willing to open their wallets and spend money or whether they're going to be more tight-fisted.
Scott Wren, equity advisor with Wells Fargo, adds while consumers may feel unsure about the economy now, their confidence should get a boost in the next few months.
More retail stocks are falling short of expectations. Teen clothing store Abercrombie & Fitch lost nearly 18% yesterday on a dismal earnings report. The store reported sales fell 33% in the second quarter. Meanwhile, Sears also took a hit, reporting a loss of $194 million in the quarter. That stock dropped more than 8% yesterday.
Starbucks will be a boycott target this weekend. A nonprofit group called Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America is up in arms because Starbucks allows customers to carry loaded guns at cafes in 43 states. The moms are petitioning and are calling for a nationwide boycott of Starbucks on Saturday to put pressure on the coffee chain to change its policy. Recently, gun rights groups sponsored Starbucks Appreciation Day.
Microsoft is launching a pilot program to provide its internet search engine called Bing to schools free of advertising. Presently, Google search is used about 67% of the time. Bing's market share is about 18%.
If you look at Microsoft's business model, they really sell products and software. They are looking for trial of Bing. They can tend to try it, is to really like it, then people may use it at home. And, I was curious, how different can it be? And so they have, and I've studied these side-by-side comparisons of what searching on Google in the classroom looks like, and you see it laden with ads.
More than 800,000 students across the U.S. may see ad-free web searches if their schools participate in the experimental program.
Yahoo has topped Google in web traffic for the first time since 2008. The latest numbers from ComScore show Yahoo had more people clicking on its sites than Google during the month of July. Microsoft, Facebook, and AOL round out the rest of the list of the top 5.
Don't be so quick to recycle your old iPhone. Reports say now is the time to trade in Apple's older models for cash. Historically, resale values drop dramatically right before Apple releases a new iPhone. Currently, trade-in site Gazelle is shelling out $300 for a 16-gigabyte iPhone 5 in good condition. However, sources say prices will drop between 15 and 20% in the 6-week period surrounding Apple's announcement September 10th.
It may pay to read the fine print on credit card rewards. CardHub.com finds some rewards from using your credit card come with fees attached, and often those fees are buried in the fine print. Based on clarity of reward rules, the study ranks American Express with the most confusing credit card application, followed by Barclays and Chase. Capital One is noted as having the clearest credit card application. There are currently no regulation requirements on rewards.
Well, that was fast. Utah design firms created a 3D model of Hyperloop. That's the high-speed transit system that would get passengers from LA to San Francisco in 30 minutes, created by Tesla CEO Elon Musk. A proposal for the project was released earlier this month. White Cloud's design firm was up to the task. This 3D blueprint was created in just 24 hours.
On the economic calendar for this Friday, it's new home sales for July. And on the earnings docket, Foot Locker, Big Lots, and Ann Taylor. Still to come, the Bears are out of hibernation. What has them all riled up? That's later in Traders Unplugged. Plus, Hewlett Packard is in focus. What the charts are revealing about the future of that stock. And the tragic death of a Bank of America intern. Why that situation is putting a spotlight on the risk of being overly ambitious at the office. First Business continues after this break. A disturbing report this week about a Bank of America intern who apparently died after pulling 3 all-nighters in a row highlights the problem of people who work to extremes. Joining us now to talk about the dangers of working excessive hours, Gail Golden of Gail Golden Consulting. Welcome back to the show. And why do people overwork?
I think some people overwork because they love their job, and others because they have that perfectionist demon inside them that says, you got to do more, you got to do better. But I think in the case of this young man and many others, people overwork because that's the organizational culture. There are expectations and demands. You got to be macho, you got to do it, which I think is extremely dangerous and unfortunate.
It's subtle, but sometimes it is there. And
absolutely.
What is the difference between a workaholic and someone who's just a hard worker?
Well, I think most of us are expected to be hard workers. That's how you get the job done. That's how you get ahead. That's how you learn to be good at what you do. Hard work is good for us, but being a workaholic is not. It's pushing your body and your mind past the point where you're not even productive any longer. You're what do they call it? Running on fumes. And it's not good for the business at that point, and it's certainly not good for you.
How do we stop this cycle?
Well, I think we have to get over the notion that this is what real men do. And again, the women in these industries are held to the same standard as the men. it's pointless. It impairs people's judgment. When people are exhausted, they make stupid decisions. So it's not good for the business, and it really is destructive of top talent within an organization.
Well, thank you for helping us cover this topic today, Gail Golden of Gail Golden Consulting. Thanks
Thank
again.
you.
Coming up, traders see opportunity in the wage war that's raging across America. That's still to come in our Traders Unplugged segment. And later on in Chart Talk, will one of the dogs of the Dow be able to shake off trouble? We'll be right back. The ready to tackle hot market topics. Alan Nuckman and James O'Malley join us from the Flora CME Group. Topic number one in this Traders Unplugged, bearish bias. Mark Faber says there's another 1987 market crash in the works. Is that true or false?
I don't think so. I mean, nothing has happened to deserve all this tapering talk. We've seen interest rates actually move up based on supply and demand, so that's already happened. We knew that was going to happen. That's already happened. Now what?
Yeah, I actually agree with Alan here. We're still missing some pretty big pieces of information. You look at market action after the FOMC minutes came out and the rally in the session following, in the day following. Right. And I think that's going to be indicative of what price action is going to be like.
We're at the halfway point.
Those final pieces of information. When is the taper? How fast is the taper going to happen?
Market doesn't care. We've been talking about it for weeks.
Right. Trying to play a breakout here is going to be a really easy way to get chopped up.
Topic number two, going well. Wells Fargo is said to be cutting 2,300 jobs in its mortgage division. What about this stock?
Wells Fargo is off of its 52-week highs. It has been, momentum has shifted to the downside a little bit here. It does seem to be finding some support at these levels, however. Banks have led the rally higher here, and I think if the market does roll over, they'll lead the sell-off.
They've done very well with the refinancing boom, so I don't know. But this stock, I was looking at its 20-year chart, took out the highs by like a few cents, and then since then we backed off. Around 40 is a good level. I think a better play is in XHB, the home builders sector. They've come back and it's holding the support level. It's 10% off, and the momentum there is very, very strong still.
Topic number three, wage war. Wendy's, Walmart, and Costco all have very different ways of paying employees. Which stock is the best investment?
Well, it's interesting here that they have different philosophies, and it's a conundrum wrapped in a riddle as far as how to pay their people. And you can see Costco pays their employees $20 an hour, and they're a great stock and done very well. I think the best out of these stocks for right now is Walmart. It's about 10% off its highs, and I think it's got some solid support at 72.
Right. I think Walmart is not the way I would want to go here. The stock gapped lower on earnings. I think the momentum is going to be to the downside from now on. Costco is off of its 52-week highs by about $8. Seems to be finding some support at this 112 level. I'd want to lean on that level.
What about Wendy's? Wendy's has gone from 4 to 8. It still has a lot of upside, but it's doubled, so it's hard to go after that.
Right.
And the burger mystery is this, that in Australia, they pay a minimum wage of $16, and they still make a lot of money at McDonald's there. So, there's money to be made. They decide how to pay their employees. It's different. But from a stock play, I like Walmart as a conservative strategy from these levels.
And now for your bonus round question, name 3 songs that contain the word money.
Money by Pink Floyd.
Cash, money. Don't know.
All right, how about She Works Hard for Her Money and Money for Nothing by Dire Straits?
There we go.
Thanks, guys. Good job. First Business continues right after this.
No,
Thanks again.
let's do that question again, because I didn't know it was songs. I thought she said stocks.
Answers.
No.
Trader Tim Bingham joins us on this Friday morning for a Chart Talk. Happy Friday to you, Tim.
Happy Friday, Angie.
Not so happy for Hewlett-Packard. This stock went into a hole on Thursday and doesn't seem to be able to dig its way out. What do you think about HPQ?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be digging its way out anytime soon either. Certainly this had been until, the earnings report, kind of one of the best performing stocks here, one of the dogs of the Dow. But after the earnings report, certainly cratering in, down some 15% post earnings. So I think it'll have trouble even grinding higher from these levels. I'd be a buyer probably somewhere in the high teen level,
wow.
More of a value play down there. So maybe another 10% lower from here.
Wow, so the floor is somewhere in the teens. Let's move on to another stock, a housing stock. You talked about some of the home builders on the show the other day, and one of our viewers was asking about Pulte. What do you think about this stock?
Yeah, Pulte probably a little slightly different story than Toll Brothers. Toll came out with a decent number. Stock has rallied since then. Pulte having a little more trouble going forward here. Stock in that low 16 level. I think about 15 and a half or so is support. I'd probably wait and see if it goes down there and test again. So I think Toll is a little more immune to higher interest rates than Pulte, given the fact that it's a higher end stock. So probably kind of a hold here on Pulte going forward.
And what about the overall market?
Overall market, absolutely a hold. I think it'll be kind of a long period of digestion here. I think the highs are in up around 1,700 in the S&Ps, and probably the lows as well around that 1,550 level. So just kind of a chop over the next couple months.
Tim, thanks and have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you, Angie.
It's time for us to close up shop for this week. Coming up on Monday, Bond Basics. A trader will be offering tips on how to trade and invest in the bond market. We hope you'll join us. From all of us at First Business, have a fabulous Friday.